So I must really just bask in this realization that yes, all of what I studied the last 4 years when it came to food and changing the protocol to now be non-discriminatory and to focus on the sugar and the salt, which have been heavily demonized, and then understanding antibodies for what they are, which are actually viral transducers in the form of a in the form of a hormone or fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals. And then understanding Genghis Khan and the Mongols and what they ate, understanding what the Ming Dynasty and the Jin Dynasty back when they were defending their territories against the Mongols and what foods they ate. And then, Sun Tzu, The Art of War. I posted the Art of War clip for a reason, because forget who released the virus, because that is an act of war on some level, but where did it come from? We don't know. It doesn't even matter. Viruses in a body that does not have great organization will declare war on that body. It will try to take over. And will you have what it takes to handle that declaration of war on your body, which is a virus that is a new entity that's trying to enter in? No different than Genghis Khan going in and entering into a sovereign land and trying to take it over. And yes, he did beat some of these dynasties, and he covered a lot of ground. Him and the Mongols covered a lot of ground. The barbarians, and the reason why they covered a lot of ground, because they had muscles, they had endurance. They were subsisting on meat and milk and fruits and vegetables, but not just strictly fruits and vegetables. They had a very diverse diet, but more so in the meat and the milk. You get the amino acids, you get the proteins, you get the muscles from that. And so I'm looking at where I grew up, which is California. And I grew up in a family where, yes, meat was, like, red meat was hardly at all. It was really just chicken and fish, because that was more of my mother's influence, was the fact that she used to eat red meat a long time ago and then got off of that. And now I guess she fancied herself to be a pescatarian, and also eating chicken. So not truly a pescatarian, but she really just does not eat. She doesn't drink milk and she doesn't eat meat, and really she subsisted on just fruits and vegetables, and she's very underweight. And I'm going to be very honest. California taking on the vegan and vegetarian is no different than the Chinese defending against the Mongols, like Ohioans. I mean, you can call us barbarians, but not really. Yes, we hunt and we fish over here. Not me per se, but my husband and all the people that he, grew up with, is they hunted, they fished, they ate the deer meat, they eat the the cow meat. I mean, steaks, yes, pork. I mean, all of that. And so it's rather interesting that California is now denying people the pork and the bacon, because yes, I understand factory farming. I get it. I don't love it. That's why I don't watch videos on factory farming, because I know how aggressive and traumatizing it is to watch an animal go through that. But what did the Indians do back then? They had to go and kill the buffalo. I mean, here's the thing, is that vegans and vegetarians want to politicize meat, and they are also taken up for the Indians and the whole thing with eugenics, which is another politicization of indigenous tribes. But when you are denigrating that diet that helped them survive on the plains, I'm here in Indian country. They survived on the, here in Ohio, as well as in the middle of America on the plains. And they were eating buffalo. But they also prayed to the gods of those animals and said, I'm so sorry for taking this animal's life, and we're going to use every aspect of this animal. Nothing's going to go to waste. And so then you see all the different animal products in the food. It means that nothing is going to waste. We are taking up with the Indians' way of doing things. Is that like the bones that are the gelatin from the bones are like in your Jello. Okay. You have milk, in all different forms, in all the different foods. You have soy, which is type of protein and everything, right? But the vegans don't like that either. I mean, they're completely starving themselves, the vegans and vegetarians are. Okay. So our society has taken up with what the Indians did. They did not waste a single source of food, but humans who don't understand their body will waste food. I hate food waste. I save food all the time, and I try to find ways that, like, if my dog eats, my dog's very finicky, and so I feed her half people food and half her dog food because there really isn't enough nutrition in her dog food, and so I supplement it with, some ham, some cured ham, and some, muffins. So it makes her food more exciting, because I'll tell you, I would not want to be subjected to the dog food, no matter what kind of dog food out there, whether it's fresh or not, out there. And so, if you want your animal to live, you give them a diverse diet, because they're going to need the substance. They're going to need, I give her some ice cream too. I give her some coconut ice cream. Okay? Because it has a milk, it has a coconut flavor, and it has some sugar, and it has other stuff that her body needs. And so she's able to withstand this ionic environment. So virus wars are no different than people going to war, because guess what drives a human to go to war? It's a virus. Viruses, macrophages run everything. They run it all. Okay? And so the smart people in our society, the power elite, whatever you want to call them, they figure out how to isolate the energy. They figure out where the energy originated from. Yes, it's from the viruses that power the body. And when you have so much, and if you're not retaining and releasing in a balanced way, then you're going to be overproducing and have so much intel in your body that you won't know what is right and what is wrong. And then you have not enough intel in your body, then you will be overridden by those that are stronger than you. Okay? And that means that the vegans and vegetarians who do not eat meat do not have enough substance for them in war, as well as in an ionic environment full of viruses. And so I knew that, I work with so many different people, or have in the past, and they all have major political persuasions that they like the J juice because they like the curative effects of it. But when I say get off the J juice, it's like fighting people. And then I switched from the pink salt to the white salt. People were flipping out on that. The fact that I say now, yes, you must eat meat and milk, until Bill Gates figures out a type of meat or a type of bioengineered meat that has everything you would find in a cow or in a chicken or in an egg, you're going to have to eat what's in your environment. And so when people are politically against because they have traumatized themselves by watching all of these activist videos, okay, and that's what all of these videos are out there to do, is to traumatize people into denying themselves food. And then don't realize everything that's in the food supply, everything that's in the environment is also in the therapeutics. Now, I'm not going to be taking the pills and the powders and the supplements, because I'm not trying to suppress any energy. I'm working with my energy and fluidly. Okay? And so if there is like I said, if there is a mass therapeutic that's being used for public health, I have no issue with that. So I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't want to hear anybody bitching about that. Okay, because what's in that is what's in your environment. And then you have the ability to control the programming in your body. No, you're not going to turn into a dog, okay, because you have a very specific blueprint called a human. And I've been around my dog 24/7. She sneezes all over me all the time. We share space. She emits spores that has DNA, mucus DNA. She licks me on my face sometimes. She licks like my nose. Sometimes she'll catch me in my mouth sometimes, like by mistake. So I'm getting my dog DNA all the time. Do you think I'm going to turn into a freaking dog? But that's what people are afraid of when they're taking all these, when they're thinking that they're being forced to do something that's going to be against their body. No, your body has an intelligence. But if you deny it food, meat, milk, eggs, all that stuff, you're like, oh, I can't eat a meat. You are what you eat. Not necessarily. Because again, there is intelligence in the programming of the overall viral blueprint of your body. But what happens is that people are not releasing and retaining in a balanced way. So they have all this conflicting programming that then is causing them to lack the intel, the intelligent, cohesive, aligned thought process. And so that's why they turn into activism. They don't like the food supply. They're afraid of the air and the water and all the food, everything. They're afraid of everything. Or they're being brave about everything. And so, yes, so I have definitely, have parted ways with a lot of different people. that I work with for such a long time. My God. And it's no surprise because with evolution, you're going to have to take a middle ground. When you take a side, no matter what it is, I don't care what it is, you are going to come off hypocritical because it's all about balance. Your body needs the meat and the milk, the eggs, the fruits and vegetables, and the salt and the sugar. And, if you're trying to lose weight because of vanity, then you're starving yourself. If you don't understand that you must, the salt does take off the substance of your body. So much salt. See, salt can be a curative effect, so it keeps the form of your body. Okay, that's why the balance of ionic and covalent, that's why I'm still here. Because I'm not taking so much of my J juice that I'm depleting my reserves and depleting me. So now I'm at a point of equilibrium, but still evolving. So when I get exposed to a new viral transducer, my body will feel the heat and I have the substance behind it. Those that don't want to feel anything, they'll keep taking J juice until there's nothing left to them. And so, when you have constipation, the reason why I had to go and differentiate between salt and the jelly juice, for constipation versus coffee and cream is because the coffee and cream then are eliciting hormones from your adrenals. The cream has all the different fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals. The coffee has acids to it. And it also, influences your adrenals to open up and give you some energy, but not deplete you because guess what? You're eating the meat and the milk and the cheese and the eggs and all that to help then replenish your adrenals. But if you're just doing if you're just doing salt and jelly juice, then you're not adding anything to the body. There is nothing added. You're taking away. That's the ionic bonding. That's the energy that's in war. It's this energy that can influence retroactive evolution, but taking so much of it will also take away substance from a body. And that's what some of you jelly juicers don't understand this. And you're all skinny, trying to look cute. Hey, I appreciate looking cute and trying to be active, but I'm telling you, the energy in this environment will work against you along with anything else that's highly energetic, like salt. And that's why I said, those of you, that were kept doing waterfalls, you keep setting your body at equilibrium, but you can't stay at equilibrium because guess what? The third law of thermodynamics is nothing is isolated. Okay? You will go to zero. What happens is that, yes, that is a cured state, but you can't be cured in an environment that's dynamic. You're in an aggressive environment. So even though you might be inert and in equilibrium in a cured state, the environment is working against you. The virus is in your environment that you're breathing in that you don't even know because you don't see it. It's working against you until you can add more substance to your body and release simultaneously in a balanced way. And people don't get that. And so that's why I showed you that email of that person, because she was reading my writing and she finally had to get out of it because I was basically taking a position against her politics. And she wants to stay on the J juice. She watched too many of those meat campaigns where they're traumatizing you with the factory farms. And I'm telling you, that shit's done for a reason. That's the actual depopulation agenda, is to where you are so scared or so traumatized from Mother Nature that you will deny yourself the actual proper, necessary foods to keep you alive. And you will die for your beliefs. But that's the agenda. And so right there exhibits the self-inflicted human sacrifice when you're starving yourself for vanity, when you're starving yourself for political wise, when you're starving yourself religious wise. That is the depopulation agenda. And so finally, look, hey, do I want to be back in the Middle Ages where, I can watch somebody skewer an animal or do whatever? Nah, I don't want to watch that. I know where my food comes from. I couldn't be a butcher and I couldn't be a doctor. Because doctors are butchers, so are nurses. They're part of the butchering process. What gets me is a doctor and a nurse who's a vegan and vegetarian. How the hell do you do that? Holy shit. Not some real mixed up stuff. But hey, if it meant to survive, would I go and kill an animal? Hell yeah, I would. I won't eat my dog because my dog's my pet. Well, how's it different than a cow? Well, a cow is not my pet. If I make anything my pet, I'm not going to freaking eat it. But if I grow something or I do animal husbandry because it's my food source, I'm going to be emotionally removed from that animal because they're not something I want to get close to. Okay, they're a food source. But it's how you then end that animal's life is the difference. And yes, factory farms are, yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry. But then, local farms go, oh, go do local. Well, what's the difference? Well, then now Bill Gates is trying to get people to understand bioengineered meat so we don't have to do that to animals. But no, you're against Bill Gates because of the therapeutics. See how the whole circular reasoning and then turning yourself into a hypocrite? And then, when they give you a solution, you're already negating the solution because of your politics that are taking a side that doesn't understand the balance of both sides. So the vegans and vegetarians that are against Bill Gates because they don't like the therapeutics, he has a solution for all of your issues with factory farming. It's called bioengineered meat. I'm fine with bioengineered meat. I don't care. As long as it has the fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals, and it has all the different, nutritional components that I need, I don't really give a fuck where my food comes from. But that's not, if animals are offered, I'm going to eat the animal. If the alternative of something that is so much like it is offered and that's it, I'll eat that. And if that's not enough, and if that's not enough, and I'm not subsisting correctly on it, then if there's any animals in my environment, then my husband will go and end its life humanely, and then he'll skin it and gut it and do whatever, and I'll throw it on the freaking grill. But I'm telling you guys that this is the war. This is the war of information. This is understanding that food is the root of why you are depleting and why you are doing amazing. And the fear against the components of the food supply is also another depopulation campaign. So, it is what it is, but I got to, bring everything back to balance and explain to you that right there, the proof of the self-inflicted human sacrifice lays within the politics, religion, and the science. And so I don't know how else to be any more clear, and that's why I don't take a side with anything political. I'm for life. That's my politics. I'm for life. And I honor someone who is not. So if you choose not to live, I'm not going to tell you that you have to live. Fine. See you later. It's nice knowing you. And then it's hard for me to get close to anyone knowing that they're, knowing this environment and knowing their practices and knowing that they have predispositions. It's hard for me to watch and feel like, I have any kind of relationship with them because they're not going to be around for very long. And I'm not going to offer anything to them that's going to mean anything because, relationships are based upon, loyalty. And loyalty is you got to be around. If you're not around, then how's that being loyal to you? Right? So I right now I feel like I want to be kind of like an island and just kind of do my own thing and not really get involved with too many people, hardly at all. And I'm going to watch how all this unfolds. And if people get it, great. If they don't, hey, whatever. They had the opportunity. But, I have to make sure that I'm consistent and aligned with not only my beliefs, because whatever, but with my message here. And so that's why, I took on Grammarly because I don't want to depend on anyone out there who wants to offer me a service, but the service in return is that they have some influence in my book, and that's not going to happen. I've already had 3 people that want to be a part of this and want to have some kind of, influence in my book, and they hold very, very, very rigid politics. And then I recognize the tone of which then they respond to some of my responses to their responses of my whatever. And so that's why I'm just going to have Grammarly edit my book. I will edit my book, and it will be whatever it is. And at this point, I don't care. Okay? I don't care. The message is going to be out there regardless, and it's not going to be influenced by somebody else's politics, religion, or science. It's going to be straight, raw, Jillian, and that's it. So I'm letting you guys know that. All right, bye.